In this video, guys, we are going to be discussing the differences in tattooing lighter and darker skin tones. By the end of this video, you will know the adjustments that you need to make when it comes to tattooing somebody that has a darker pigmentation. So let's get the obvious out of the way. Can you tattoo somebody who has the darker skin type, that darker pigmentation? Absolutely. Black and grey and colour both work. However, when it comes to tattooing black and grey, depending on how dark the skin is, it gets to a point where colour is always going to be better. But there is things in black and grey, which I'm going to explain now, that you can do to give the best possible tattoo on darker skin tones. So hopefully by the end of this video you will have a better understanding on what to do depending on the type of skin that you are tattooing. Now I've created a very lackluster document on Photoshop, a quick 5-second jobby. Hopefully it gives you the visual representation that's needed as I'm explaining. It is lackluster though, so you know, I do apologise. Okay, so here is that lackluster document. So what I've done is I've broke the washes down into 6 tones. Tone 1 being on the left, tone 6 being on the right. Now I broke it down into 6 tones because typically that is what I use when I am tattooing. Now these tones aren't specific to the actual grey wash that I use, but like I said, it does give a good visual for you to follow along with. So as you can see, tone 1 on the left is my lightest tone available, tone 6 being the darkest, and this is currently on a white background. Now the white background is representing the lightest of light skin tones. As you can see on the left hand side, that tone 1 is visible. So when it comes to tattooing, if I was to use this tone 1 on this type of skin, being the white background, tone 1 when I put it in skin would be visible. So that would mean that I would not need to change anything within regards to my tones, because my lightest tone is visible on this type of skin. However, what you also do need to take into account is the heel. Now if we go to the next tone, you can see that tone 1 now has become a little bit harder to see. Now if I was tattooing this type of skin, tone 1, I would have to be thinking, is my tone 1 going to be visible on this type of skin, especially on the heel? Now I think at this point I would use tone 1 as a blending tone or saturation tone only, and use tone 2 as my lighter tone. So I'm not quite getting rid of tone 1, but I am not using tone 1 as a base tone, if that makes sense. So just to reiterate that, what I would be doing is using tone 2 as my lightest instead of tone 1. Everything that I would usually do with tone 1, I'm doing with tone 2. Now on to the next skin tone. As you can see, tone 1 is pretty much all gone. It's not there. Tone 2 is also on its way to not being seen. So if I was to tattoo somebody with this type of skin tone, I would completely scrap off tone 1, and now I would be using tone 2 as my saturation and blending, and I will be using tone 3 as my light tone. So as you can see, as the skin pigmentation changes, I'm stepping up to which one is my lightest tone. And then finally, we are on to a darker skin tone. Tone 1 is gone, tone 2 is gone, tone 3 is barely visible, and then tone 4 also barely visible. Tone 5, you're getting a little bit more. So you've lost on this type of skin tone at least 3 tones. Now tone 4, again, that would be my saturation and my blending, and then tone 5 would be my light, tone 6, you know, which is a little bit darker, would be my medium. So at this point, on that darkest skin tone, you have lost 4 tones. So you need to take that into account. You've already lost 4 tones. What could you do? Well, you could have a backup grey wash. You could have a dark set, just specifically for those darker tones. Or if you are using the Silverback 10 stage Insta set, then you could probably use 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 being your lightest tone, 8 being your mid, 9 being your dark, 10 being your extra dark, and then having a black. So you've completely eliminated everything up to 7, every single tone that is way too light. So with these few tweaks, you can see that it is possible to tattoo somebody with a darker skin tone. But this is also when color comes into play. If you don't have those darker tones and that skin pigmentation is too dark, that is when the decision to do color comes into play, because color is a thicker, denser pigment. It works a lot better for darker skin. And yes, you can do lighter colors on darker skin. Anybody that tells you that you can't really don't know what they're talking about, okay? You can do lighter tones on darker skin. Would it look a little bit muddier? Maybe, but those lighter tones can be used, I promise you. You only need to look at what's been done these days on top of people that have blacked out arms and blacked out sleeves. People are all having full color put throughout their black sleeves, and it's healing absolutely fine. You can do it. I have seen it been done, and I have done it myself. There is a specific way to do these things, but that's not what this video is about. But trust me guys, depending on the darkness of the skin, whether you want to move from wash to color, it can be done. But guys, I hope I've explained that okay and you understand just a little bit better on what you would be doing with your grey wash. If you are new around here, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to turn on the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. If you want some extra benefits, if you want me on tap and access to a private Discord server, then you can join my Patreon. The link is in the description. But guys, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.